how do we get there? How do you just become like this? Because all of this is reflecting on what it means. But we have not talked about how do we do it? How do we be those people? Because we're not those people. Look at us. Have a little bit of introspection. We're not those people at home. We're not those people at the workplace. We're not those people anyway. So how do we be those people? Because those people existed, by the way. We're not talking about theory. We're talking about people that walked on the surface of this earth, and they existed. They implemented the theory. You know, with complete honesty and complete perfection, they implemented the theory. So the Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, Abu Abdullah rahimahullah, he was asked this. Abu Bakr al-Marwazi rahimahullah said that قيل لأبي عبد الله كيف نستعين على قصر الأمل? How do we seek help on having قصر الأمل, which literally would be short hope, which would mean having no wishful thinking, or having no thought of longevity in this dunya or something of that nature. Recognizing the temporariness and the shortness of this dunya. How could we do this? So what do you think Imam Ahmad said? Because this is extremely important. This is the key to this, to how you get there. Imam Ahmad gave us the key. Huh? Submit yourself to God. Imam Ahmad said, La adri, I do not know. But then he said, إنما هو توفيق. It is a divine grace. It is a divine grace. Meaning what? That's it. That's the perfect answer. Because getting there and being those people is not about how much you know. And it is not about any math, it's not about any calculus, it's not about, so you do this and that, and step one, step two, you get there, make a right, make a left, you'll be there. No. إنما هو توفيق. It's a divine grace. Which means what practically for us? It means that you need to surrender to Allah in humility and submissiveness, tadarru, dhul, khuduwa, in every single meaning of the word tadallu, humility, submissiveness, and you ask Him for that divine grace because no one else could give it to you. That is what it means. So you knock the door and keep on knocking until it opens. Knock the door of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, stand by the gate, wait for it to open. As long as you're standing, it will open for you. Once you move away, once you give your back to the door, you're done. But keep there, facing the door and knocking until it opens. There is nothing else. But a few practical steps that will help you stay by the door. Because ultimately it is a door that will be open to you at one point if Allah sees that you're deserving. But to be able to get to where Allah sees that you are deserving, you will need to have frequent remembrance, dhikr. That is why the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the remembrance of, the hereafter, the remembrance of death, the tafakkur, the reflection and all of this is of extreme importance. That is why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said about the dhikr that it is better than spending, gold and silver, and better than fasting and praying and spending gold and silver and confronting your enemy and smiting at their necks and they smiting at your necks. Because that remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will keep you from being lost and being and becoming forgetful and heedless, and will keep you standing by the door. As long as you have a remembrance in your heart and you keep on knocking the door and you stand by it and you keep on facing it, you wait for it to open, you're fine. You turn your back to it, you're gone. So you wait there and you have this frequent dhikr and you have tafakkur over all of the phenomena around us. You know, the alteration of day and night. إِنَّ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَاخْتِلَافِ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ لَآيَاتٍ لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. Thirdly, in the creation of the heavens and the earth and the alteration of the day and night are signs for people of understanding. So, the alteration of day and night, reflect on this. Don't take it for granted. Don't take it, you know, like it's just a natural phenomenon. It is a natural phenomenon. Allah created it. And this natural phenomenon that Allah created is bringing you closer to your finish line. So that reflection is of utmost importance. Salli salata muadda. So reflection not only on this, but reflection on everything around you, reflection on this. That's why the Prophet ﷺ said, أَكْثِرُوا ذِكْرَ هَذِهِ الْلَذَّاتِ. Frequently remember the interrupter of all enjoyments, that is death. Reflection, سَنُرِيهِمْ آيَاتِنَا فِي الْآفَاقِ وَفِي أَنفُسِهِمْ. Reflection on the ayat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the horizons. We were just in the car coming here and we looked up the lifespans of different trees. Do you know that the lifespan of a pine tree, a certain pine tree, is 5,000 years old? A pine tree. There are some trees that have a lifespan of 50 and 75 and 100 and 300 years. But some of the, red cedars and stuff, they have a lifespan of 3,000 years. And there is a particular pine tree that is 5,000 years old. It was there before Ibrahim alayhi salam, and it's still alive. Though that tree had seen generations and generations of human beings, many of the trees that you see around you will outlive you and outlive your sons and daughters and children and grandchildren, the trees that are around you. Isn't there like an opportunity for us to reflect on this? يؤمل الدنيا لتبقى له فمات المؤمل دون الأمل وبات يروي أصول النخيل فعاش النخيل ومات الرجل. So وبات يروي أصول النخيل, and he was watering the palm trees, and the palm trees lived on after him, and he died. So reflection is of importance. If there is like any time after the event, I only need 5 more minutes. Just 5 more minutes. So like I said, the reflection is the work of the heart, the work of the mind. But what is the work of the body that would help us also, like practical steps that we could do to be heedful of those facts and of the things that we could do, in addition to the things that are common and the things that everybody knows, such as تغسيل الموتى and اتباع الجنازات and زيارة القبور, etc. Visiting the graves and washing the dead and attending, the janaza and all of this, which is certainly important and helpful. And they should take primacy over other things, because the advice of the Prophet ﷺ should always take primacy, but also of the advice of the Prophet ﷺ. Abu Bakr al-Muzani said that no one should sleep except while يكون له ما يعمل فيه إلا جعل عهده تحت رأسه. No one should go to sleep except having his wasiyah, his will, written and underneath his pillow. not necessarily underneath your pillow, but if you have it somewhere visible, somewhere visible, where you see it going back and forth, you see that your wasiyah is here, that will be helpful. Also, if you buy your own kafan that you will be shrouded in and keep it somewhere visible in your closet, every time you're trying to put on your nice suit, you will see it next to your nice suits. That is good, that is helpful. You think it is morbid. No, it's not morbid. Some of you may think it is morbid. No, it is not morbid. You're just being reminded. Keep it in mind. You will do this and you will enjoy the good things of life. But you will always be reminded, frequently be reminded. It will not be out of your visual field. Your wasiyah is in your drawer. So every time you open your drawer, you see it. Your kafan is in your closet. So every time you dress up, you see it. And in addition to the other things that I just mentioned, which are of prime importance, visiting the graves, washing the dead, attending the janazah, and so on. Finally, rafqatul salihin, the company of good people that will remind you of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at all times. And if you don't find them around you, you will find them in books. You will read this, the Prophet ﷺ and his Sahaba. You will live with them, and you will remember them fondly at all times, as if you were in their company. Because the more you know about them, the more you have this feeling that it becomes a very 3D feeling of their presence. They feel like, it will feel like that generation, the greatest, is around you, surrounds you. By knowing more and more and more and more of the seerah of the Messenger ﷺ, the Nabi ﷺ, and his Sahaba, you will feel like you're surrounded by them, and then you will be impatiently eager for their meeting. Like Bilal radiallahu anhu. You know, Bilal, when the Prophet ﷺ died, Bilal did not want to make adhan afterwards because it was extremely burdensome, emotionally burdensome on him to make adhan. There were two times where he did actually make adhan after the Prophet ﷺ. One time he came back from Sham for like a quick visit to Al-Madinah, and the Hassan and Hussein begged him to make adhan, and he made adhan, and certainly the whole Medina was in tears when he reached the part of the adhan of Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the second time is when we went to Jerusalem, and Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu asked Bilal, or pleaded to Bilal, because he was very adamant not to do it. But the second time is when Umar ibn Khattab pleaded to Bilal to make the first adhan at the Masjid al-Aqsa. And he did. And so he lived, after the Prophet was done, he continued to live in his company until the day of his death. His wife said to him, she kept on weeping and so on. And he said to her, no, don't cry. Tomorrow I will get to meet our beloved ones, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions. So it is basically to be surrounded, and you could do it through learning more and more about their seerah. You can have this 3D feeling of the presence surrounding you, and then they will be your friends and company. Which does not never think of the people around you as beneath you, because that is arrogant. But if you don't find the statures that we're talking about in the people that are around you, you will find them in the seerah. Be in the company of the good people here, but don't be contented with the good people that are here now. And make sure that you are surrounded by the company of the greatest of people. قولوا هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك اشهد ان لا اله الا انت استغفرك واتوب اليك.